I think dance is your life, and it's what you are. It's not something you do. I am a dancer, I'm a singer, I'm an actress. That's what I am. It's not what I do.
The musical. No other art is at the same time cruel and generous. The artist trains his body so that the most acrobatic act becomes second nature. Trains his voice so that his physical performance does not interfere with the quality of a vocal performance. Trains his memory to be always in harmony, in the right place at the right time. When he's good and ready, along with 1,000 other people, he will track down a role. He's entering show business.
Lori? Amy?
Yes.
Rosalie?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Irene?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Carmen? Yes. And Maria?
Yes. You guys have it? 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7.
We did the audition sometime in April and in May. So sometime in New York, that's the time when people go for musical theater outside, dinner theater. So some people rather do that instead of going to Monte Carlo. They take this job as a cruise ship, like a boat, and they're going to go there for 2 months. And that's probably one of the reasons a lot of people didn't. There was a lot of people coming, but there was not quality people at first, anyway.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 8 and...
Jean-Pierre is the choreographer for a show at the Sporting Club in Monaco, a principality between France and Italy, not much larger than Central Park. We will be following the path of these performers from casting to the premiere.
I just moved back to the States in March, and I called my friend Janice that I had done dancing with, and I said to her, I moved back. I got crazy. I just packed my bags and thought I have to get home. So I said, but now I don't know what to do. It's like starting all over. And she said to me, come to New York and do some auditions, because there's an audition for a job in Monte Carlo. There's some other auditions. Come.
6, 7, 8.
When people audition for me, they have to perform. They do not, I don't want them to just do steps and, I want them to perform for me. I guess I could see what they look like on stage, what their performances are. And Loretta performed for me right away. And right away I say, okay.
What numbers are these? 3 and 4, 5, 6 and 7 and 8.
Audie is a little bit what, actually, I would say a little bit, he's very close to what I was as a performer. And I see a lot of me in him. He has a lot of energy. He's got a great technique, great physique, and I think that for me, it's just the right performance.
1 and 2, 3 and 4.
I choose them from
6, and you go
their dancing, of course, ability. They have to be very strong technique. They have to be ballet training. That's very important, very, very important. Ballet training and, of course, jazz and tap and a little bit of modern, you know.
5, 6, 7, 8. And hip. And hands stay strong there. And down and cross and push and cross and to the side now and slide.
From New York to LA, the selection of dancers is made between February and May of each year. More than 300 of them will audition. Unfortunately, only 24 will be chosen.
Knees contract, up and turn, down and up, push around and down.
Congratulations, you've passed the first step. But don't rejoice yet. You still have 2 to go. The next one will separate the actors from the simple dancers. Because you don't only need good technique, you have to perform as well. Only then will your voice determine your success in getting the part.
Okay, singers. When I say singer, I mean real great singer that I can put in front of 6 girls and she can blow the place away. Summer's here and the tide is right. We're dancing in the streets. The dancing in Chicago.
Je pense que, je veux dire, est-ce qu'on exclut l'idée d'aller à Los Angeles, c'est ça que je veux dire?
Pour des filles? Parce que moi je pensais que Los Angeles c'était surtout pour les garçons.
Oui, mais enfin si on peut trouver 2 ou 3 filles, ça serait bien aussi. Parce que moi, oui, l'un n'empêche pas l'autre. C'est ça, moi ce que je veux te dire par là, c'est que dans l'ensemble, j'ai des pas mal.
Oui.
Mais je n'ai pas chaud, bien. Tu vois, Kim, là, je le barre, là, tu vois.
Ouais.
Elle ne veut pas venir. She doesn't want to travel. Kim. She doesn't want to. Yes.
Right.
So that's out.
La fille en blanc, là, c'était laquelle?
Janice.
Oui. La fille en blanc.
Hein?
La fille en blanc qu'on a vue.
Oui, Loretta.
Oui.
Oui. Chaud.
Oui.
Suzanne de Brique.
Oui, c'est ça. Suzanne de Bouquet, oui.
I like Susie Jerry because she's that Broadway thing that we only did for the movie. She could do the Latino. She's not the funkiest person ever, but she does it well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And she does, and sort of Kelly Crafton. You know, Kelly Crafton is a singer,
bigger voices.
Broadway,
voice and
strong voices, and those two could pass in a chorus.
Yes.
Il n'y a pas de problème. De toute façon, on n'aura jamais 18 filles qui vont chanter top et tout. Du moment qu'il y en a au moins 6 et les autres en chorus derrière, ça va.
C'est pas tellement la danse. It's not so much the singing, it's the dancing. I'm hoping they're gonna keep up, you know, that's what I'm thinking. It's not so much the singing. I know we don't need that many singers. I mean,
we need to
it's just the dancing. I'm hoping they're gonna be together. You know, I hate to see so. You know. I'm hoping, you know, it's only 4 weeks and it's tough. You know, they're gonna really dance, not, you know, everything, but you know, I'm gonna have Latino dance. I'm gonna have couples, guys. Tu vois ce que it's gonna.
Oui.
Daniela is not spunk. I'm sorry, she's very beautiful. I agree with you. I think that she's beautiful, but she's a little weak. She's like. So do Melissa. I'm liking Melissa a lot, but she's mocking. That's the problem.
I was working in Las Vegas at a hotel there, and our choreographer also had a show there. He came to see my show, and later came into town again and mentioned that there was a job in Monte Carlo. So of course, I said, I'd love to work in Monte Carlo. So I auditioned.
Well, actually, I got a phone call from Jean-Pierre, who told me that a friend of mine had called a friend of mine to ask him if he could do the show, and he couldn't, and he had asked him if he had known anyone that was available, and my friend gave him my phone number. He called me up. I showed up at the audition, and next thing I knew, I was signing a contract to come to Monte Carlo.
I came back this year because New York is horrible in the summertime. Last year, the temperatures varied from 95 to 100 degrees. Here it was about 85 every day. It rained once. And I'd prefer to be in Monaco for 3 months than in New York City.
I think a lot of people thought it would be more of a review type of thing. Also because when we heard it was in the sporting club, the casino, and this and that, just the casino alone gives you another idea. You don't think of doing serious theater. When you hear casino, you think high heels and feathers. I mean, and that's something that I had never done before, but I thought since the summer is a little bit of a dead season in a performer's life, the summer is very slow, so I thought it would be great to do this job in the summer, to have a little vacation in Monte Carlo, and then go back in the fall and get ready for the auditions in the fall. And it turned out to be a real job.
Keep the hand crossed, Daniela.
Okay, Alison is my assistant, and we met each other about, let me see, 14 years ago or 13 years ago. She was doing a Broadway show at the time, 42nd Street. And I said to her, well, I get a gig, would you like to assist me on that show? And she said, yeah. So that it all started. It's been for years and years. She knows what to do with the kids, and she calms me down when I want to scream at them. It works very well.
1, 2. Right.
Okay, I'm from New York.
I originally grew up in Massachusetts.
I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana.
I'm from Norway, half an hour's drive outside Oslo.
And we moved to Las Vegas when I was 5.
Dancer out in New York, trying to make it be a star or whatever.
In New York?
Yes.
It was a culture shock.
To say, for instance, in Scandinavia that you're a dancer, you're regarded as a serious artist.
And for me coming to Paris, I thought it was the same, this was the same thing happening in Paris, that the way people look at you. And when I presented myself and I said I was a dancer, they looked at me as like, you're a showgirl. It doesn't, when you say you're a dancer, it doesn't really mean you can dance. You know, they think you can do this and you're a dancer, right?
Well, Vilda is, she's a beautiful girl and she's a wonderful dancer. And she has a lot of class. She has such a wonderful presence on stage. And I guess it's got to do with the modeling. You could spot her in a minute.
When I started modeling, I always said it's not going to take over because my dance is really what I want to do, but I needed to pay my classes, my rent, I needed to live. And I knew I got to a point. Last year I worked almost a whole year without doing any dancing at all. I took my classes and I worked non-stop. And when I was doing a lot of dancing, my body got used to remembering movements itself. I didn't have to think about it. I felt it felt right, and it was in me. Now I had to do it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it because it wasn't there anymore.
1, 2, 3, and here's to those beautiful ladies, to those wonderful girls, Tills and Mollies, Lucille's and Polly's, who find them all in the sixth of follies.
The musical director is a psychiatrist, a mentor, and a trainer. Daily, he has to take you away from your choreographer, just before you're exhausted. And he also has to install in you the musical interpretations connected to your role.
The last one. It's got to have that, the same kind of energy that you dance with. You got to sing with. Here's to the beautiful ladies. Here's to the wonderful girls. A joy forever. So bring on those beautiful girls. Yeah, that's better. Each one has to be it. So bring on those beautiful
I loved dancing from when I could walk because my mother was a dancer, and I guess I would watch her and want to do the same thing.
Vicky is a fabulous performer. She sparks on stage. I mean, she shines. Very young, but she has a lot of talent.
Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leads your soul to bleed. Some say
my father's a musician, so I guess it's in the blood. So I played the piano first, and then I started singing in a job and discovered that I liked it. Yeah, I think it's in my genes, in my Levi's.
What? I'm not writing letters, I'm writing my words down, Loretta. Words, these are words I'm writing. See? The rose. The Rose by Vicky. Some say love.
When the night has been too lonely and the road has been the seed that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the
Just take your time. So we push back through this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. From the dance version.
Janice is beautiful. She performs. She has a great technique. And she's my ideal dancer, I would think.
I have 3 sisters, and we, at 5 years old, we were all put into dance class. And as the years progressed, I was the only one that stayed with the dance. It was my way of expressing myself, the best way that I felt. And at, I think, the age of 10, I started with jazz and tap, and then decided later on in the years that I didn't have the discipline to be a ballerina. I didn't have the figure. I felt that the movement of jazz and modern was more comfortable for me.
You gotta count it up.
5, 6, 5, 6, 7.
France is a whole-around performer. France could sing, could dance, could tap, and it's wonderful for me as a choreographer to have someone like him.
When I took the job, I didn't know we were going to tap dance, but it ended up that we did, because the other boy, Robert, and I, he found out that we had done tap shows before and that we had worked with Maurice Hines and other tap shows, and he just inserted a Nicholas Brothers number for us. Jean-Pierre really, he's not a tapper, but he knows what he likes. So Robert and I really put the number together, and with his help to be able to tell us what looked good and what didn't look good and what he wanted to see in the number himself. So we were really given a lot of freedom with the tap number.
Fascinating rhythm, you got me on the go. Fascinating rhythm, I'm on a quiver. What a mess you're making, the neighbors want to know why. I'm always shaking, just like in a quiver.
When I was very young, I was just doing steps without anybody showing to me. Of course, I had a teacher, but sometimes she would let me do my own thing. I mean, she was putting the music, it was like a Spanish music, and I was just tapping away on the floor, and and she was laughing because I was doing, I was imitating things that I saw on TV or I saw in movies. But already I knew that I wanted to be in control. I knew I wanted to be the one to create the steps and stuff. But I had a wonderful teacher, who was a Russian teacher. And she taught me, of course, dancing, classical ballet training, but she also taught me the actual vigor, to be very precise and very meticulous. I'm very hard to please, like she was.
Stop, and at one point in the music, because it's much shorter than this, we'll just do the same thing.
We were making that front the other way.
Yeah, the front though. I want to see your face, for the ending. That's it. This should be kind of straight. This is going to be like this.
But the problem is that no matter where I put her, even if I put her on my shoulders, her legs are going to be out this far.
You turn around her. Do something like in the split. The girl should turn around you. Turn around, turn.
Oh, keep dancing.
Yeah, like a little movement. Boom, boom, boom.
To be on the road for 3 months requires organization and lots of pre-arrangements. Of course, your suitcases have been packed for a week, and the last day you only take care of little details.
I need to get to the bank.
After I get done with this, I'm going to be running around, tearing the apartment apart, trying to find my passport and everything else I need, plus the names of addresses of people that will kill me if I don't write them.
The musical world is a small one, even in the Big Apple.
That is so funny. I tell you. I look terrible, but that's okay. That's so funny.
So follow me, come to the bedroom. Now don't scream when you see it. It's a mess, believe me. See what I mean? Music, the whole thing. Going away is hectic. Trying to get your life together in 2 bags or less.
I'm thinking, because I had told you I have to go down to, what do you call it, Canal Jeans?
Yeah.
So I thought I should get some tights there at the same time.
I almost forgot. The last day is spent shopping for all that showbiz stuff.
But don't you want to go to Macy's first? Because if you're going to go to Canal Jean, I'll go straight there and I'll do the rest of my stuff afterwards.
Bed. I said. Bed. Where's the bed? Où est le drap, mamie?
Once in Monaco, you sort through your luggage and you're assigned living quarters. Everybody tries to fight jet lag and hurries to unpack in order to jump into the Mediterranean Sea as soon as possible.
Yes, right here.
This is cute. Isn't it cute? Yeah. We love it.
The first day in Monaco, I was a zombie because I didn't sleep on the plane. But it was beautiful. The drive from the airport to here was great. And my apartment I loved the minute I saw it. Sometimes it was hard to rehearse and look out at the beach and say, I wish I was there. But once, it was hard when we weren't doing a show, but once the show got started and we got to know the French people that we were working with more, it was a lot nicer. Because at first the language barrier was really hard and there were a lot of frustrations and misunderstandings within the cast and between cast and crew. And so once that was ironed out, everything was much smoother.
The fact that we are rehearsing so frequently and we're not, we're rehearsing during the day and performing at night, the chance of injury is far greater. So you have to be a lot more careful. The fact that I'm older, the chances of me injuring myself, I think, are far greater. And so I have got to be extra careful.
I was running in between the acts in the show, and I ran upstairs to fix my hair because I fell down in the show, and I twisted my ankle. They brought me to the hospital after the show, and I saw an intern. He took a look at it, told me I stretched some tendons. Then I went back the next morning, and the doctor told me I had sprained it, and to stay off it for 10 days. It's been 4 days.
When are you gonna be back on stage?
Tomorrow.
You're not afraid to hurt it more?
Well, I'm going to use lots of tape and a few painkillers, and it should be okay.
I was very weak, and I had terrible back pains, and for 4 days I slept and there was no way I could do the show. But after that, I felt okay when I was lying in bed. And I was thinking about them, and who's doing my part? What are they doing? I'm not in the show, you know, and I want to be there. And I just, why I always loved to be a dancer is it doesn't matter how many hours you sweat and you cry, you know, because when you're on stage and you're doing something that you like and you enjoy, that's what I'm working for.
Monte Carlo Sporting Club is the most enchanting stage of all of Côte d'Azur. Jean-Pierre Reggiori danced there 15 years ago. Now he's back as choreographer.
Wait. My style is a very high energy, very fast-paced, a lot of movement in and out, traveling around.
They're very, very high energy, very high energy. That's what I like, because there's something on every count, and he's so precise about what he wants. I like to feel that it's not a challenge only that I worked with him and that I learned the choreography, but it's a challenge every night.
He is still an incredible dancer, and he can show you exactly what he wants and how he wants it to be done. And your job is to try to emulate him, to try to be exactly the way he is. So if you don't look like him, he strives for that look. He'll strive for the perfection. And it's very high energy, lots of movement. There is a dance step for each count.
You really have to be on top of it with him because you really never know what he's going to ask of you. So if you're not ready and prepared to do whatever, it can get a little difficult. Sometimes you really have to think, you know, to be able to do the choreography.
7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7.
Wardrobe, hairdressing, makeup, rehearsals, cueing, fitting, sound and light check. From noon to midnight, day after day after day. When the show is over, all you're looking for is your bed.
You have no private life. You have no other life at all. Because you think about what you eat, what you do, what kind of sports you cannot do.
It's very hard for a performer to have a personal life. I think for us, it's the very thing we need and the very thing we almost cannot have.
Monaco closes really early, and I'm used to Las Vegas being a 24-hour town, even more so than New York. I mean, it really is 24 hours. And my friends at home said, you know, I'd be riding on yachts and, you know, getting propositions right and left, and I haven't got any. So that's okay, because, you know, I'm looking for something deep and meaningful.
A lot of times, you are faced with the decision of, I'm either going to leave show business and satisfy my personal life, or I'm going to stay in show business and know that it will be very, very difficult to have one.
I didn't know if that was going to be possible, because when we worked together again last season, we hadn't worked together in 3 or 4 years. And I found myself to be very sensitive to people's reactions to him, and I had to learn how to cut that off and deal with him strictly as his title as a musical director and my title as singer/dancer, dancer/singer. And I found as the season progressed last year, I was able to deal with that, and I think it will be possible for he and I to work together. I think there's an incredible sensitivity that he has, and to not only to his music, but also to the sensitivity because he's been educated by me for what dancers need and how to deal with them.
It's great. It's great. I felt good. I felt great.
Amazing. The music was great.
At last, after 2 months of rehearsals, it's the premiere. While the spectators arrive at dusk, the technical crew put the finishing touches on the musical. Each crew has very little time to do a maximum of work. Needless to say that the premiere always seems to be a miracle.
Et encore un peu à l'arrière. Allez, poussez, je ne dois pas m'arrêter, poussez-le. Vite, vite, fort, bravo. C'est bien, très bien, stop.
Besoin de personne, Harley Davidson. Je ne connais plus personne, Harley Davidson. J'appuie sur le starter et voici que je quitte la terre. J'irai peut-être au paradis, mais dans un train d'enfer. Je t'aime bien, moi, ça la vie, qu'est mon terrible ange. Je n'ai besoin de personne, Harley Davidson. Je ne connais plus personne, oh Harley Davidson. Ouh là là, c'est vachement chouette ça.
Hello.
Listen carefully. I don't have much time. I'm being watched.
You're being watched? By who?
Never mind. Do you have my package?
Of course I do.
Good. Meet me tonight at the Hotel de Paris. I'm en route.
Hello? 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 Spies in the night. They go wherever you are. You're in their sight. Watch out for spies in the night.
a cold finger beckons you to enter his web of sin, but don't go in. Golden words he will pour in your ear, but his lie can disguise what you fear. For a frozen girl knows when he's kissed her. It's the kiss of death from Mr. Goldfinger. Pretty girl, beware of this heart of gold. This heart is cold. He loves only gold. Only gold. He loves only gold. He loves
Well, after dancing, that's something that's really popped into my mind lately.
The heart, the beat, to start, the beat.
I'm really trying to like branch off more into choreography.
The heart, beat, start, beat. Feet need to feel the ground. Feet need to move around.
I'm going back to school. I'm studying university actually this September when I get back to Paris.
They like to lift and slide. They like to kick and glide.
Local politics in my hometown, probably.
Sometimes the hips are swaying too. Could be the arms are playing too.
I would like to coach performers because I think a lot of performers think too much about technique and they forget what it is to perform.
The body does what the body should. Whatever it does, it all feels good.
I've taught women exercise classes. I've taught very young children ballet. I've taught teenagers jazz. But I think for me the challenge would be to perhaps teach somebody that has a disability, perhaps does not have their sight or can't hear the music, to help them with movement. And I think I'm going to need a challenge like that.
And once you've got it down, you want to show it. And once they see it, before you know it, there's mirrors and lights, and music and lights, and music and that, and music and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. That's dancing. That's dancing. Studying yourself or leaping through the air. That's dancing. That's dancing. If there's a better bet, nobody's gonna get. No better way to get from here to there. That's dancing. That's dancing. That's dancing. That's dancing. That's dancing and that's dancing and that's dancing and that's dancing and that's dancing. That's dancing too. Keep on dancing just for you.
It's finished, but for tonight only. Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, rehearsal.